You belong on every ground your feet grace, so don't ever feel out of place. Take up space and belong. This earth is your birthplace. So, to continue my 7 days of Christmas movie reviews challenge, I am going to review The Merry Gentleman. So it starts off with Ashley doing a Christmas performance with the other dances. They called them the Jingle Bells or whatever. It was kind of like a Rockettes performance. Like if y'all ever seen the Rockettes, like these dancers, and most of the time you see them during the holidays, especially Christmas. So it starts off with them doing a performance, and then after the performance, she is introduced to this new young girl who is a new dancer or whatever. The girl tells her that she admires the fact that they've stuck with dancing after all these years, pretty much trying to call them old. Typical Gen Z behavior. Typical Gen Z behavior, like thinking that you're more equipped, better than somebody because you're younger than them. And a lot of the times, we look way younger than Gen Zers. Like we be looking way younger. Like they be look a lot of them be looking like they had a hard life and they just be 20 years old, and that's crazy. But it's very ageist. Like they're very ageist. They're ageist or whatever. But she ends up getting called in the choreographer's office and she gets fired. Of course, she's sad about this, the fact that they're replacing her because they're saying that she's too old. And like on her way out, the girl had asked her did she have any advice for her when she first came, and she told her, "I don't know, let me think about it." But then on her way out, she looked at the girl and said, that advice that you wanted, never get old. Don't get old. You think that you got the upper hand now because you're young and you're pretty and all of this stuff, but when you get old, they throw you away, basically. And it's so ironic because that girl ends up not even sticking around long enough. She only a couple of days. She only lasted a couple of days because it takes more than young age to accomplish things. But that's another topic for another day. So Ashley ends up calling her mom, or her mom calls her or something like that. And um she calls her mom, and her mom tells her that, we want to see you for Christmas or whatever. And she's like, if you're not able to come, like we know you're busy, especially this time of year, but if you're not able to come, we can come see you. We can come to one of your shows or whatever. And she's like, you know what, mom, I'm gonna come home for Christmas. When she gets there, she tells them that she was fired and stuff like that. So now she pretty much has to like pick up the pieces of her life, because it's not like she was making money and got rich off of dancing for the past maybe 10, 20 years of her life. She didn't even get the opportunities that she wanted, and she still was being very loyal to the Jingle Bells or whatever. But alright, when she first gets home, she runs into this guy putting up Christmas decorations, and she ends up getting caught in a wreath and falling. And like the two of them like have an exchange or whatever. And it kind of seems like they really don't care for each other at first. But when she gets to the bar that her parents own, everybody is happy to see her. But when she gets there, she sees that their bar is falling apart. And she learns that things aren't the same as they were when she left. Like, they're not getting the performers. Like, people don't want to perform there anymore. Plus, they're behind in debt. In debt or whatever. And the bar is falling apart. But the guy that she bumped into, who is Luke, he helps her parents like whenever they need repairs or whatever. um She goes to visit her sister at the diner that her sister bought. Um, and they kind of catch up briefly about, her life and why she's back home, and she ends up ordering lunch there or whatever. And her sister tells her husband, what's her husband name? I can't remember, to fix the food that Ashley wanted. And then when Luke comes into the diner to pick up his food, she asks Luke to drop Ashley off at home, because everybody is working, so they can't stop what they're doing to drop her off. So she asks Luke to drop her off. On their way there, they're talking. They get to know each other a little bit. It's mostly surface level things. They talk about career and stuff like that. And, that's about it. He drops her off. And when she gets there, it confused me too, because when she gets there, her sister is there. And like she ends up like talking to her about Luke and like, dating him, like trying to see if she's interested in him. She tells her that she wants to see her happy and in love, and she's like, it's not the 20th century anymore, or it's not the old days no more. Women do not need to be with a man to feel fulfilled and happy in their lives. And she's like, yeah, I understand that, but I just want you to be happy. And she's like, I mean, just because I just got fired don't mean that I'm unhappy to the extent that you want me to date somebody to be happy. Crazy. The next day she goes back to the bar and she sees all of the envelopes with the late notices that her parents have gotten over the past few months or whatever, year or whatever. Um and she calls out to them so she can talk to them about it, but they aren't there. But Luke is actually there, shirtless, fixing something or whatever, and he asks her to help him fix, I think it's like the plumbing or something like that they was having an issue with. Um and the landlord ends up coming by while the two of them are together, and she tells Ashley that she found someone to take over the lease of the bar, and she ends up telling Ashley that her parents owes $30,000. Ashley feels like they need new acts and pitches male dancers to perform um up until Christmas to get her the money for the bar. And she ends up roping Luke into the scheme, and he goes along with it and agrees with her. And, the landlord, Denise, she is like, okay, cool. I want to see y'all actually pull this off. Like, I don't believe that y'all can, but it wouldn't hurt to see y'all scramble to do this. And then when she leaves, Ashley is talking to Luke about it, like, thank you for helping me. He like, nah, I just said that. Like, I'm not doing that for real, for real. I just told you that I would. But she ends up convincing him to do it. So in the next scene, she is choreographing a dance for Luke, her sister's husband, and the bartender to do, so they can do like this male revue. It's not strippers or whatever, because they're only taking off their shirts and they're just dancing around. And she kind of like ropes them into her scheme, and she's showing them how to dance. And then it shows her walking around promoting the show, handing out flyers and stuff. And like at first she's saying, do y'all want to see a male revue? And then she ends up saying male strippers. And that's when she gets the attention of like the women in the little city that they live in. Um, Luke is still having trouble because, he's not a dancer or whatever. So she ends up working with him one-on-one to show him the dance moves that the two of them are dancing together to help him out. And like while they're dancing, you can see the connection between the two of them, so much so to everybody else in the bar is just standing there in awe at the kind of like connection that they see between the two of them. But of course, Luke and Ashley are the ones that are in denial about it. So it's the night of the show, and Luke is really nervous. Ashley talks him off the ledge by telling him to find one person in the audience to focus on so it can help with his nerves. And that person ends up being her. So the show ends up going well. So the landlord kind of feels like, okay, maybe y'all will be able to save the bar. Maybe not. There's some potential. So I'm going to let y'all do what y'all do. Afterwards, Luke toasts to Ashley to show his admiration for her, like her stepping in and teaching them the choreography and getting them ready to do the show and helping them to perform as well as they did. He buys her a wreath necklace to kind of symbolize when they first met, and he also thanks the wreath for pulling her into his life, which is the words that he used. Then he asks to walk her home, and she agrees, but only if they could get food. So they go to get pizza, and they're talking and they're like having a good time, and she's still kind of worried about whether things are going to work out. So he comes up with this idea for them to go see Santa so she can make a wish and let Santa bring her wish to life or whatever. So they go see him. They put on the Christmas hats. They sit on his lap, the whole shebang, in order to kind of soothe her worries. And it works. She admits to him that she misses performing. And while she's watching them on the stage, that's really all she can think about or whatever. And, he understands, this is what you wanted to do all your life, so he gets it. In the next scene, her mom and her goes to dinner, and they talk about, everything that's been going on, and, Ashley tells her about her feelings about being fired and not being able to perform, and her mom gives her the advice telling her it's not performing that makes a difference, but who you perform for. And it's something that sticks with her throughout the movie. So the male dance revue gets their first positive review, and Ashley's sister reads it to her because she's nervous about reading it. Ashley ends up adding more men to the she ends up adding more men to the show. Some dude that can actually dance, she added. And then it goes to the show and they're performing this time. Ashley's brother-in-law ends up getting injured, and the rest of the men ended up kind of having a bad show. They're kind of like thrown off by the fact that he's not there. They stop, pause the show, they go backstage, and the other guys want to like quit, like this was a bad show, we need to just call it what it is and quit. And Luke is like, no, people paid for this show, we gotta give the people a show. Danny ends up filling in for Ashley's brother-in-law. Danny is the old man who was always sitting at the bar getting drunk. And everybody is shocked because they're like, what? Y'all think that I'm only capable of sitting at the bar and getting drunk? And they're like, yeah, because that's really all you do. But he ends up being pretty good. The show does well, and over time it's making a profit. They're getting close to their goal. So Ashley is really excited about that. Troy is the bartender. He tells Ashley that he hasn't seen Luke this happy in a long time, and mentions Luke's ex-wife leaving him, and she's like, wait, did she leave him? He's like, what, he didn't tell you? And she's like, I mean, he told me that it was an ugly breakup, but he didn't, go into detail. And so now she understands why Luke has this thing about girls from the city, or girls who love the city, because his wife broke up with him because she didn't want to live in a small town. She wanted to go back to the city, and he didn't. That's why they broke up. So now she's understanding why he acts the way that he acts. So she goes to visit Luke's shop, and she's like walking around and like looking at all of the things that he's. She comes across this table that he built, and he carved like Christmas designs into it, and she's she's speechless by how amazing it is, and she tells him that he's got talent, and he's like, no, that's just a little something. She's like, no, like this is dope, like you really do got talent. So the two of them end up getting close, and they kiss for the first time. um and Luke is very excited about the fact that they've been connecting, and he got her to kiss him and all this stuff. He's excited. So then it goes to the show, and it shows Ashley, like, cause she created this like graph to kind of keep track of like what they're earning from the show, and they're almost at their goal. I think it was like at 23,000 when she looked on the thing, which means they only had 7,000 more to get. So Ashley ends up getting a phone call from Jody, her old boss, the choreographer for the Jingle Bells, telling her that they want her to come back, telling her that the young girl did not pan out, and she ended up not being ready to have the limelight on her and all of this stuff. And she tells Ashley they offer her a 25% raise to come back. They need her. And Ashley is, she agrees until she realizes that she'd have to go back for Christmas Eve so that she could perform for Christmas. And she has the thing going on with her parents' bar. So she tells the lady that she needs some time to think about it, and she tells her to hurry up because, I stuck my neck out for you. And my whole thing is, if you stuck her neck out, why did you just let them fire her? You should have did it the first time. Why do it now? Because the young blood that you let in didn't pan out. Now you want to fall back on your old reliable. If it was me, I would have said no from the jump. Ashley goes to talk to her parents about the news, and at first they're shocked that Ashley didn't turn it down. But then when she tells them, this is something I always wanted to do, they encourage her to do it. Like, about time they realize how important you are, you definitely need to take this opportunity. And we understand, like, we'll hold things down while you go and be the star that you are or whatever. But her mom is like, but why don't you seem happy? And she's like, because she don't want to leave the men hanging after she started. And her parents assures her that they will keep things going, and they thank her for starting it in the first place. It doesn't actually ease her worries, because I think it's not necessarily about her abandoning what she started, but the fact that she will be leaving Luke, who she has feelings for but won't admit it. She ends up finally telling Luke that she's leaving, and he's heartbroken by it, to the point that, he storms off, and he's like, all of you city girls are alike. Like, y'all see something shinier and you want to go toward that rather than being content with what you have. And he's like, I never even wanted to do this. You talked me into doing this, and I did this because of you. And now you're telling me that you leaving, which is understandable. Like, he has a right to be hurt because she came back making them believe that certain things were possible. He ends up falling for her, and now she's saying she's leaving. It scares him. Like, he's afraid because he likes her and he wants to be with her. So I 100% get it, where he was coming from. And in this, like, he tells her how he feels and how he felt like he was falling for her, and she's like, I didn't know that. And he's like, well, now you do. So, she feels bad for hurting his feelings, and she tries to reach out to him a few times, but he keeps ignoring her or whatever. And she goes to talk to her sister about it, and her sister tells her that she needs to tell Luke how she feels. She's like, he won't talk to me. And she's like, so go tell him how you feel. And the reason why he won't talk to you because he don't know how you feel. But instead of doing that, she ends up trying to leave, go to the airport to go, but she ends up not being able to go. And it goes to a scene where the guys are struggling without her. Luke is trying to hold it together, but he's also frustrated. But he does keep them from arguing long enough to actually do the show. So they're on stage and it just doesn't feel the same without Ashley. Luke is thrown off, so it throws all of the other guys off. So he stops the music and he's about to walk off stage before he sees Ashley. And then they finish their performance. And then he goes to Ashley and Ashley tells him she couldn't leave. And he expresses his feelings for her, and they express their feelings for each other, and then they kiss. And the next thing, they have Christmas dinner, and Ashley reveals her little graph. She reveals the chart that shows that they were able to raise the money that they needed. They even got over the money they needed. And so they're having Christmas dinner, they're celebrating. Ashley pays Denise, the landlord, the money, and Denise apologizes for underestimating them. Ashley ends up inviting her to join their dinner. She's trying to create family within the community, so things like them not being able to pay their bill on time won't be a problem. And also Denise trying to sell the bar from under them won't be a problem either. So she's trying to make those connections. So her and Luke ends up going outside and talking or whatever. She tells him, he asks her what's next for her, and she tells him that she doesn't know, for the first time in her life, she doesn't know, but she does know that she's going to stay in town with her family or whatever. He's happy to hear this. They profess their feelings for each other, and that while they're looking at the Christmas tree or whatever, then they kiss in front of the Christmas tree, and then everybody else comes out to join them, and then goes off with everybody celebrating their success. This movie was really good. This one was one of the movies that did focus on Christmas a lot, and it didn't get under my skin. It wasn't cheesy to me or whatever. I thought it was cute. It was good seeing Chad Michael Murray on the screen again, and also the girl that played Ashley. I will put the cast's name at the beginning of this video because I do tend to forget about that or whatever. But Chad Michael Murray has been in a lot of movies lately, and I'm happy to see him. I don't know why he took a break, probably just to live his life, but I'm happy to see him on screen again. He got that young old look down pat. I'm sorry. You can't. To 1 minute he looks really young. He got that young body, and then his hair is gray. His face still looks the same. It hasn't aged, but he has the gray in his beard, his hair, or whatever, and then he still looks young. That look works for him. Him and Matthew McConaughey, that look works for them. But all in all, it was a really good movie. I do think that it's worth watching. It was very family oriented. It gave all the feels. It also had the energy of Christmas in it. And for those of you who really love Christmas, I definitely think that y'all would really like this movie. Beautiful. Typical Christmas format. The storyline of the child that goes away finally comes home for Christmas because their career doesn't pan out, and their family surrounds them with love, and they remember what's important in life, and their job is not the most important thing, and money is not the most important thing, but having the support of their family is the most important thing. That format is what it is, and it works. I'm not gonna knock it. Definitely a decent watch. I definitely think y'all should check it out. And let me know what y'all think about it. If y'all already seen it, let me know what y'all think. If this review made you go watch it, come back and let me know what you think about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye! Before you go, check out my website at srgraham.org and subscribe to my mailing list to get exclusive updates on works in progress, other news, and blog posts. Thank you.